What's up, guys? Well, today we're going to be in Wilmington, North Carolina with James Yokeley Jr., who is the Surry County Elections Chair, and he's going to resign after he's been accused of putting MDMA into his... Now, it depends on the report, who you listen to, because I heard one say his granddaughter's drink, I heard one say his granddaughter and her friends drink, I heard one say his two granddaughters drinks, and this one's going to tell you that he called the police when he found the pills in the granddaughter's drink. I think it's the chief of police is going to be on here next talking, and he's going to tell you a different story. So, I'm still trying to figure out what's going on with this. Anyway, I would like to note that Wilmington is my oldest stomping grounds. I ran EMS out there for many years. And this guy had a house in Wilmington, which is New Hanover County, but he is the elections chair in Surry County. Anyway, that's where we're at. Also, 90% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Click the button and we'll move along. We're going to watch this. We're going to hear the chief of police. They're going to ask some questions. The people that's asking the questions seldom have microphones, so it's difficult to understand what they're saying. So I'll probably put the captions on for that. But here, Surry County Elections Chair resigns after being accused of putting MDMA into granddaughter's ice cream.
North Carolina Board of Elections Chair is stepping down from his position after he was arrested and charged for reportedly putting illegal drugs in his granddaughter's ice cream.
Now see, this says granddaughter. I heard granddaughter, I heard granddaughters, I heard granddaughter and a friend.
Yokeley Jr. is now facing multiple drug charges, including felony child abuse and contaminating food with a controlled substance. Wilmington's police now say that Yokeley called them and then told officers that he found the pills in his granddaughter's ice cream. Officials say video showed Yokeley then slipping the pills into the desserts. Initial testing shows the drugs were ecstasy and also cocaine. Yokeley, now a Republican, was appointed to be the chair of the Surry County Elections Board of the state auditor just 2 months ago. He has since been released from jail on a $100,000 bond.
He's been released from jail, and that's just going to play some random music. So here's what I'm almost sure it's the chief of police.
Take a look at your screen. Content partners in that area say North Carolina County Elections Chair is accused of putting cocaine and MDMA in his granddaughter's ice cream. A lot to discuss and a very odd story we are heading to. Viewer discretion is advised. I do want to share the very latest from law enforcement.
As you know, I'm going to correct the date.
Sorry, Lieutenant.
Doesn't change anything with the case. In the initial release I put out August 8th, an officer was flagged down at the sheets at the corner of Shipyard Boulevard and Independence. It was actually August 3rd, so that's my mistake. But on August 3rd, a patrol officer was flagged down at the Sheets gas station at the corner of Shipyard Boulevard and Independence, and was advised that 2 teenage girls had located some pills
See, now it's 2 teenage girls
in their blizzards, which is, as you probably know, is an ice cream product you can get from Dairy Queen. There were paramedics that were already there at the sheets. They weren't specifically called for this incident. In fact, that's actually why we believe that they stopped there. The paramedics checked them out.
So what he's saying is, because the granddaughter was driving, she's driving down the road, goes past Sheets, and she notices a paramedic ambulance in the parking lot, thinking, let me show this to the paramedic and let them figure out what's going on. And then the paramedics call police in, because they're pretty close by, because everybody knows cops and medics like to hang out at the Sheets because they got some good snacks.
It did not appear that the juveniles had ingested any of the foreign substances that were located in their ice creams. The officer confiscated the pills. A presumptive field test was conducted on those pills. We'll talk about that here in a little bit too if you have questions. The field test is presumptive in nature. Okay, it's not a laboratory test. That comes later. That is in progress right now as we speak. Based on the presumptive test and the totality of everything going on, safe to say one thing led to another. Report was taken. That report was forwarded up to our Criminal Investigations Division, which any report that has follow-up factors is forwarded up to them. A detective began investigating the case. Obviously, that involves going to the scene of the crime, talking to those involved. During that investigation, surveillance video was discovered and handed over to the Wilmington Police Department that clearly shows Mr. Yokeley placing the pills in the ice cream. Based on that, other things discovered in the investigation, that detective pursued charges against Mr. Yokeley. It was on the 26th that he came to the police station and was taken into custody, and those warrants that have been taken out and were served. And then he was transported to the jail, New Hanover County Detention Center. He was given a $100,000 secured bond by the magistrate and was able to post bond and is currently out on bail right now. That's kind of where we're at right now. I think most of that information is probably already known. I know various outlets have obtained court paperwork through the clerk's office as public record and gleaned other information there. So if there are any questions you guys have, I'll try to answer them, and I also have my help over here that can potentially answer or clarify anything that you may be curious about. I'll open it up.
I think I probably know the answer, but will you guys be releasing that footage?
No, we're not going to release it. The case has to go to court, and once it goes to court and is presented as evidence, and the case is adjudicated, there's a potential then. But no, we won't be releasing it prior.
Have you guys found exactly where Yokeley got the pills from?
Don't believe so. Like the source? No.
Are you all able to say what type of narcotics were found?
Kevin, do you want to kind of...
And you're not going to see Kevin, you're just going to hear him talk.
The pills that were received...
Come on up here so they can...
He's not coming up there.
The pills that were received that night were tested in a field test, which is not conclusive. It just gives the officer an idea of what we could be dealing with, especially for narcotics or poison or anything like that. So...
You got to figure out who this Kevin is. I got to look it up on the roll and see if it's the same one that was working out there when I was out there many years ago.
The presumptive test showed that it had the same compounds as other drugs. It may very well not be those drugs when it comes back from the lab. So that's where we are right now. So for us to say it's not absolute as to what it was, it definitely was a pill because it was wet. The markings weren't readable. So we're not going to jump to conclusions. We only listed the type of...
And whatever that loud noise is that just started in the background, that's on their end.
Drugs that were, I think, released in the warrant because that's what they tested for in the street, but it may turn out to be something else.
So the street field tests basically are designed to test for compounds that make up illegal narcotics or narcotics in general. So it indicates the compounds, the chemical compounds that are there. So there's no question, we're talking about drugs here. It's just getting to the point where it's isolated, identifying exactly what drugs are there. That's in progress right now with the lab.
Would it have been a lethal dose?
Hard to say. I not being a medical professional and not knowing specifics, how different folks metabolize things, I really can't say whether it would be lethal or not.
Yeah, that would depend on how big the person is, how much was put in there, the milligram strength of each one, and there's a lot of depends that do go into figuring out if it would be a lethal dose or not.
There was not a huge amount, and I know that's kind of a broad term there, but...
Also, it makes one wonder what the grandfather's plans were if they ingested it and it was enough to, and the granddaughter was driving, and it was enough to start the hallucination process that this stuff will do, and what his plans were should it went as he thought.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't, we're talking one pill per container. So, and I don't know what the milligrams come up to be or anything like that. Again, a lot of that stuff's going to depend on the lab findings.
Just to confirm something you said earlier, you said you believe Mr. Yokeley stopped at Sheets because paramedics were already present there?
I believe so. So I believe the young ladies that are involved in this case, when they discovered the pills, they became very concerned and emotional. And I believe the 16-year-old involved was driving. And right now it looks like that due to concerns, fear, panic, if you will, made the decision to pull in there. So we think that decision was probably made by the juveniles to go to the gas station since they saw an ambulance or paramedic vehicle there.
So if Yokeley is from Surrey County, do you all know why he was out here in Wilmington?
We believe he has a residence here. Yeah, so I don't know about his residential status in Surrey County, but we do know he's a resident of New Hanover, or he is a resident of New Hanover County as well.
We had heard he's got a bit of a criminal history. Can y'all elaborate on that?
I'm actually not familiar. I haven't run his criminal history. I'm not familiar with that.
Have you spoke to the family or the girls?
The girls were interviewed.
I would wonder why they wouldn't run his criminal history. Is it because he's a elections board chairman?
Essentially for the case, yes.
Okay. Yeah, so the females involved have been interviewed.
Pretty sure they're running your background.
And did you cover the relationship of the girls not necessarily being?
I didn't go deep into that. So we know one juvenile is a step granddaughter.
Well, at least he referred to him as granddaughter, but the other one's a friend of the granddaughter.
Correct. Yeah.
I don't know if you're able to elaborate. What did he have to say about this?
I don't know myself, and I can't find out and elaborate on that. Yeah. What else?
The parents, have they said anything?
Not that I'm aware of. Our investigators have been in contact with the family and spoken to them, but again, that would be something in confidence between them.
So at the time that these two teenagers flagged down, someone, did they have any inclination that it was potentially their grandfather?
It didn't appear so initially. So when they went to the sheets because they saw the EMS vehicle there, and it was actually the paramedics that flagged the officer down in conjunction with the juveniles that were there. The officer happened to be in the area. So it all kind of happened rapidly and quickly, but yeah.
Did any of the girls express concerns, with his behavior? Is this the first time that something like this has happened, or did they feel any sort of way?
At this time, we don't know. And I can tell you, based on what I've been informed or what I've been told, is that the girls were very upset. They were very upset, very concerned, panicked. And of course that was this incident, but as far as like indications of any other past behavior or anything, I can't go into that if that's been expressed or not.
And just anecdotally, this is kind of a wild case. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
We've seen cases before where people have put drugs in people's drinks or food. It's happened before, and it does happen. Just based on my experience, this is the first time that I know of where it's been like this kind of dynamic with a family member. But that's certainly not to say, it's never happened before. That's just based on my experience. It's not an everyday occurrence. Typically when you think of people putting something in someone's drink, you're traditionally thinking downtown or, a roofie, if you will, or something like that. And that could be a completely different scenario. But, as far as in my experience, family member-wise, it's the first I can think of as I'm standing up here, but it's, again, certainly not to say it's never happened before.
Were they all driving together?
Yes. Yeah, they were all in Mr. Yokeley's vehicle.
Did he place the pills in the drinks at the Dairy Queen?
Yes.
Can you elaborate on how he concealed that?
I don't know how well.
How he concealed that? Not very well. There's cameras.
So I know in the video, just to kind of summarize it, he can be seen placing something on the counter, and it's pretty apparent that when the employees make the drinks, he's trying to observe if anybody's observing him, and that's when the items are placed in the blizzards or drinks, however you want to editorialize it. But yeah.
And when you guys went back to that Dairy Queen, and I assume asked, did they see him doing anything? Did they ever see anything?
No, they didn't give us any indication that they picked up on any suspicious behavior. They missed it, basically. Which is to be expected. From what I understand, it was around closing time. Maybe 4 employees there, I think. So it was around closing time. They're closing up shop. They're doing their thing. They're making ice cream, so they're not necessarily on guard, to watch what a customer's doing. So it's definitely not on them. And there was obviously an effort by Mr. Yokeley to try and conceal his behavior.
So this mostly occurred at night?
What time? It wasn't in the evening?
You're talking time at night, and to point out, both victims of this remained in the car the whole time, so it was a situation where there wasn't anybody around watching.
Right, so he ordered.
Dairy Queen has been absolutely helpful with us. Anything that we need, and they supplied all the surveillance footage that they have from several different angles, and at no time do we believe that they had anything to do with this case.
Yeah, if anything, regardless of how this case is adjudicated, Dairy Queen was collateral damage based on somebody else's behavior. What else? Is there anything you guys needed me to bring up specifically, or I think it kind of covers it?
You told me Anderson Cooper was going to be here.
That's the only way I could get you down here, man.
I guess, is there anything can you say about, where the kids are? I'm assuming they're with their parents now.
I'm not. Not sure. They're safe. But, that's obviously a priority. Anytime a juvenile is the victim of a crime or exposed to a crime or anything like that, Health and Human Services, commonly referred to as DSS, becomes involved. And, obviously the child or juvenile's welfare is something that's paramount regardless of the case. So, their well-being is looked after by us along with, partners at DSS.
I'm not sure if I missed this in the news or anything, but is Yokeley still in custody, or did he bail out?
No, he made bond the day of his arrest. He posted it was a $100,000 secured bond, and he bonded out.
And to make sure that I'm the ignorant recruiter that if we're not talking ice cream that this was put in, we're talking Slurpee, like a drink.
It's ice cream. It's like a really thick milkshake.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a blizzard. So anybody that frequents Dairy Queen, if they're familiar with a blizzard, it's a milkshake you eat with a spoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are your next steps now moving forward in the investigation?
So basically, looking into any aspect that could branch off of this investigation, any kind of behaviors that we can discover that led up to this incident and during the incident. Obviously, there's the lab aspect to this. Our partners with the Sheriff's Office lab are the ones processing the pills. So that's obviously a part of it. There's obviously will be a lot of conference that our investigators will have with the District Attorney's Office. So, even, and this isn't just unique to this case. Anytime there's a case of varying degree of severity, once there's arrest, even after the arrest, it's very common for the investigation to continue on. So it's not like, arrest is made, the book's closed, and we wait for court. So there's a lot of loose ends we tie up, a lot of post interviews or additional interviews that are conducted, just things like that. Nothing that will really change where we're already at. If anything, it'll just build on the case.
And when will those results on the pills be ready? Is there a timeline or
It's hard to say. I mean, I don't want to throw a timeline out there and kind of like make anybody feel like they're closed within. The local lab here is more than capable. Excuse me, more than capable of handling this request, and the turnaround usually is quicker than it is at the state lab, which is just because the state lab, North Carolina State Lab, handles North Carolina, and they have a huge workload. So the lab here is capable of doing the exact same tests, and the turnaround is typically a lot quicker. So it won't be real long, but I mean, it's going to take them a little bit of time to do what they need to do. But not as long as it would if we sent it up to the state lab. Again, just because the state lab's workload is heavy.
I know nobody's been convicted yet. We want to basically establish that. But if there is a conviction here, he's looking at some pretty serious time, I would think.
Potentially. Somebody at the district attorney's office could probably consult you better on that, but it depends on what level he's convicted at and prior history, anything like that. But it is safe to say, yes, that there could absolutely be time, a sentence that would require active time. That is correct.
Probably asked the DA or money in court, but do you know when his first court appearance was?
So his first appearance based on the felony charges would have been Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken, the day after his charge. So anytime anyone's charged with a felony, they'll have a felony first appearance, which is typically the next day, especially if they're arrested later in the day. So that has already occurred. I don't know when his next court appearance will be. It is online. It should be online. I just haven't looked at it.
And then just to get this correct, August 3rd was when the patrol officer...
That is correct. That is correct. In the initial statement I released, I said August 8th. That's our mistake. It's August 3rd was when this initially happened. And the investigation carried through to the 20th. I mean, really, the investigation's ongoing now, but he was taken into custody on August 26th.
And just to confirm, those two teenagers were both female?
Yes. Yeah.
Is there any particular reason why the public was notified, a few weeks after the incident, compared to like other incidents where press release would come out,
Well, it was because of his arrest. So we typically, there's a lot that goes on in Wilmington, right? Like any other city our size. So there really wouldn't be a reason, especially in this case, if it was an unknown. Honestly, it could do more harm than good in putting it out there to say, hey, something happened and we don't know what's going on. It was relatively quick in this investigation that we developed Mr. Yokeley as a suspect. And of course, we're definitely not going to advertise that. We want to make sure we can gather as much evidence as we can. So, yeah, I mean, this wouldn't be one of those situations where we put out a media release or anything like that until the arrest was made. What else? Anybody?
And let me prove my full ignorance.
No,
Can I get you to repeat both first and last name? And you're dealing with the world's worst speller. Can I get you to spell first name?
Mine?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was about to give you somebody else's name here. I'm just kidding. My first name is Greg, G-R-E-G. My last name is Willett, W-I-L-L-E-T-T.
And your rank, sir. I think you've already mentioned.
Yep, that's all right, Lieutenant.
Okay.
Yep. And everybody likes to drop a T on my last name or add an S. 2 T's. That's it.
All right, so we were just listening in there to officials a little bit earlier today after we are learning a North Carolina County Elections chair accused of putting cocaine in his granddaughter's ice cream. And there he is on your screen there. That's suspect James Yokeley Jr. If we learn anything more about this story, we'll bring it to you here on Live Now from Fox.
Alrighty, so that's where we're at with this one. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. Also, again, like 90% of people that watch these videos are not subscribed to the channel. Click the button and we'll move along. Let me know what you think about this one, and I am out.